picked it up again.
A lot of people will be shocked to know that my favorite Disney princess growing up, it was Ariel, no lie.
I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on.
A lot of people might be surprised to learn that my favorite Disney princess growing up was Ariel. No lie, I'm being completely serious. I watched The Little Mermaid once, and then I was hooked. But speaking of Disney princesses, two of them have recently sparked controversy for very different reasons. On one side, we have Halle Bailey, who has shown deep respect and admiration for the iconic role she played as Ariel. On the other, there's Rachel Zegler, whose approach to Snow White seems more focused on rewriting the classic fairy tale to fit her personal ideology rather than honoring its legacy. This stark contrast in their attitudes has fueled heated debate, and Bailey appears to be subtly calling out Zegler for her dismissive and disrespectful stance toward her role as Snow White. Zegler's take on Snow White has been making headlines, but not in a good way. She has openly criticized the essence of the original 1937 film, calling it outdated and dismissing its portrayal of women. She's even gone as far as labeling Snow White as powerless and branding the prince as a stalker. Adding to the controversy, she admitted to watching the original film only once and made some bizarre remarks about the scary adventures ride. Her attitude makes it clear that she deliberately distanced herself from the character's legacy, which hasn't sat well with many Disney fans.
With the fact that I wanted to learn how to swim and be in the water all the time.
Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it.
Rachel Zegler's approach to Snow White has sparked outrage among fans, as she pushes for a more woke live-action version of the beloved classic. In this new take, romance is practically erased. Snow White no longer dreams of true love or waits for a prince to rescue her. Instead, she is all about leadership and self-reliance, supposedly inspired by her father. At this rate, you'd think she was running for president. But no, she's aiming to be the leader of the Seven Dwarfs instead. This drastic modern twist hasn't earned the praise she might have expected. Instead, it has fueled widespread backlash from fans who feel that the heart of Snow White is being stripped away rather than reimagined with respect. The story's timeless magic is being overshadowed by an agenda-driven rewrite, leaving many to wonder why Disney is so determined to change what was never broken in the first place.
The cartoon was made 85 years ago.
I truly felt like I was breaking out of my shell.
Meanwhile, Halle Bailey has embraced her role as Ariel with genuine joy and appreciation, taking an entirely different approach, one rooted in love and respect for the original. She has openly shared that her admiration for Ariel stems from childhood nostalgia and personal inspiration. Bailey has spoken fondly about how The Little Mermaid sparked her love for the ocean and even motivated her to learn how to swim. Rather than criticizing the original, she chose to honor Ariel's adventurous spirit and determination, adding her own unique touch while staying true to the character's essence. For Bailey, playing Ariel has been a dream come true, and she has celebrated the character's legacy with every step. This approach has been widely praised, proving that it's possible to modernize a beloved character without stripping away what made them iconic in the first place. However, Disney as a whole seems to be facing a dramatic shift. For nearly a century, the company ruled the world of family entertainment, captivating generations with magical, heartwarming tales. But now, it feels like the fairy dust is fading. Instead of uniting families, Disney appears to be pushing agendas that don't resonate with a significant portion of its audience. The results speak for themselves. Box office flops are piling up, and it seems like the magic carpet ride may be nearing its final descent.
The fairest of them all, who's put up against Gal Gadot, and somehow Gal Gadot is jealous of Rachel Zegler, and you've got a story about the search for true love that's no longer...
Take Disney's animation game, for instance. Once untouchable, its dominance is now being challenged by DreamWorks, which continues to deliver hits that audiences actually want to see. Meanwhile, even Disney's major acquisitions, like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, have turned into massive headaches. And now, the live-action Snow White remake is in the hot seat, with its release delayed to 2025 and the entire project under fire from all directions. Let's talk about Snow White, because this is shaping up to be one of Disney's biggest disasters in recent memory. The criticism has been relentless. First, there's a backlash over Disney's portrayal of the Seven Dwarfs. Critics, including Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage, didn't hold back, slamming Disney for altering the core of the story. Disney was already playing with fire. But things got even worse when leaked set photos surfaced, showing a portrayal of the dwarfs that looked more like something out of a low-budget high school play rather than a multi-million-dollar production. Then there's Rachel Zegler, the face of this remake, who has completely failed to win over audiences. In fact, her comments have done the exact opposite. Remember the infamous D23 event, where Zegler practically disowned the original Snow White story, calling it extremely dated and dismissing the concept of true love. Instead, her version of Snow White is all about leadership and self-empowerment. While that might sound good in theory, it has alienated a massive portion of the fan base. Social media erupted in backlash, and even conservative outlets like the Daily Wire have jumped in, announcing their own anti-woke Snow White alternative. Yep, that's really happening.
Audiences have responded in their droves. In fact, the trailer has broken records. More than 1 million people have disliked it on YouTube, making it one of the most hated previews in cinematic.
Meanwhile, Halle Bailey is out here winning hearts as Ariel in The Little Mermaid, and her approach couldn't be more different. She has embraced the role with love and nostalgia, often sharing how Ariel inspired her as a child. Instead of trashing the original or trying to rewrite it, she built upon it, honoring Ariel's adventurous and curious nature while breaking barriers in a way that felt organic. And fans embraced her for it. Rachel Zegler, on the other hand, has rubbed many people the wrong way with her attitude. The irony is hard to ignore. If she's so against the original Snow White, why take the role in the first place? That's the question fans keep asking. Rather than celebrating the legacy of the character, Zegler's approach feels like an intentional effort to distance herself from it. When compared to Bailey, the contrast becomes even more glaring. One princess feels like a heartfelt tribute, while the other feels like a critique. This isn't just about Snow White or The Little Mermaid. It's part of a larger trend in Hollywood that has left fans divided. In recent years, there's been a growing push to reinvent classic stories with a so-called modern twist. While it occasionally works, more often than not, it feels forced. The charm, magic, and timelessness of these tales end up lost in translation. Fans aren't demanding that every princess sit around waiting for a prince, but they do want the heart of these stories to be preserved. Nostalgia is powerful, and audiences miss the days when fairy tales were simply that. Stories of magic, adventure, and a little romance. It really doesn't have to be this complicated.
You keep using the word outrage. No one's outraged about this movie. People are laughing at it because it's a joke. It is a combination of everything bad about modern movie making. You've got...
With all eyes on Snow White, Disney finds itself in a tough spot. The delays, the backlash, and the controversy surrounding Rachel Zegler. It's a mess, no sugarcoating it. And on top of that, Disney is stuck trying to appease both traditionalists who cherish the classics and a younger audience looking for something fresh. It's a near impossible balancing act. If Disney isn't careful, Snow White could end up as just another soulless, CGI-heavy remake, technically polished but ultimately forgettable. And for a story as legendary as Snow White, that would be the ultimate failure. So, what should Disney and Zegler have done to resonate with millions of fans? Honestly, they just needed to respect the original lore from the start and bring it to life as audiences envisioned it. That's it. Making a live-action adaptation of an already beloved story should be one of the easiest things in the world, because the foundation is already there. If Disney had remained faithful to the essence of Snow White, the film would have likely been a massive hit, raking in hundreds of millions at the box office. That we've seen this play out with Halle Bailey. Despite initial skepticism, she embraced the character of Ariel with genuine admiration, respecting the heart of the original film while adding her own touch. And in doing so, she won over audiences. Remember, she wasn't the perfect choice for everyone. Her casting sparked debate since mermaids have traditionally been depicted as white. But her heartfelt performance and clear love for the role made all the difference. Zegler, on the other hand, has taken the opposite approach, distancing herself from the character in the original story in a way that feels dismissive rather than modern. And as a result, she has already been effectively cancelled by millions of fans who feel that she has disrespected Snow White rather than reimagining her with care.